Wonderful afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to watch this short presentation. Xperience episode 6, how to avoid breach of fiduciary duties. What is fiduciary duty? Big word, but it's a simple meaning. You and I know that the law has changed. The Estate Agents Act has been amended with increased penalty. So if we do not want to face that kind of penalty, we, the agents of Singapore, must abide by the law, the Code of Ethics and Professional Service Manual. And that's where the fiduciary duty comes in. So let us start. How to avoid breach of fiduciary duty, because all of us as practicing agents have fiduciary duty imposed on us by law and by ethics. So some of you know me and some do not know me. So for the sake of those, for the benefit of those who do not know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Harry Yeo, and I got a master's degree from Oklahoma City University. In addition, I got cert in CIHA, cert in REA, cert in RES, and certificate in conveyancing law. What's conveyancing? Well, it refers to the transfer of ownership of property because of sale, inheritance, gift, etc., etc. Where there is a transfer of immovable property, of course, we need documentation. And that's where I come in with it. And I also have ACTA and DAYS. What is ACTA? Advanced Certificate in Training and Assessment, which is a training qualification. And after that, we have DAYS, which is Diploma in Adult and Continuing Education. All in all, I have 46 years of work experience, including this year will be 47. I started work in 1973. At the age of 19, today I am 66. And I work in Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand, doing accounting work as well, 23 years in the corporate sector. In addition, 23 more years in real estate, teaching, selling, etc., etc. So today, I'm involved in the property business for the last 23 years. I've done HDB, private residential, industrial, commercial. More than that, in the year 2007, I did 2 en-bloc sales successfully, a row of terrace houses and some apartments. So, okay, let us start. Learning objectives. At the end of today, what is your takeaway? At the end of today, you have a good understanding of the fiduciary duties of property agents so that you can comply with them. We can learn from the mistakes of other agents who have breached the fiduciary duty and have to pay the penalty. All right. Oops, I make a mistake and it's a costly mistake. I hope it doesn't happen to you because it will be costly to you. You know, wise people learn from their mistakes. Wiser people learn from other people's mistakes. We belong to the wiser group of people. We will learn from other people's mistakes so that we don't have to go through the pain and the penalty. So here we have a person. She is Mary. And Mary is a salesperson. And she represents the principal. The principal is Jack. Whoever the agent represents, that's a principal. Can be the seller, can be a buyer, or landlord or tenant. In this case, Mary represents Jack, and she connects Jack with Jill. Because the connection is done successfully, she gets a commission. So in an estate agency work relationship, there are 3 parties: the agent, the principal, and the third party. The role of the agent is to connect the 2 parties together successfully, and therefore close the deal and get your reward with it. So fiduciary duty is the legal duty and the ethical duty of the agent, the salesperson, to act in the best interest of the client. That is fiduciary duty. So when the principal appoints the agent to represent the principal, the agent is put in the position of trust. Legally speaking, the agent is a fiduciary duty, and therefore he or she has a duty to act in the best interest of the client. Fiduciary duty is spelled out in the Code of Ethics and the Professional Service Manual. And it says that we, the agents of Singapore, must act in the best interest of the client. failing which you will face the penalty, warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license, and in some cases, imprisonment. This is the professional service manual, and it says that duty to client. When you deliver professional service, we, the agent, must act in the best interest of the client, act in accordance with the instructions of the client. Advise the client to seek independent professional advice is because it is outside the scope of the agent's expertise. We must maintain confidential information, disclose all material information, and communicate all expression of interest, etc., etc. These are the fiduciary duties of a salesperson that has been clearly spelled out in the professional service manual. So that if any salesperson should break any of the fiduciary duties, he or she will be taken to task. Warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license, imprisonment. Now, this is a Straits Times, May the 6th. Higher fines for agents who are in error. All right, so last time, the maximum fine for breach of code of ethics and professional client care is 75,000. Today is 100,000. So we have fiduciary duty towards the client, the duty to act in the best interest of the client. How can I remember? To remember fiduciary duties, you must think of the word old car. Winston has taught us learning to learn. When you learn to associate. So now I associate old car with fiduciary duties. That is the acronym. O stands for obedience, L for loyalty, and D for disclosure. What does CAR stand for? Confidential information, accounting, and reasonable care. What did Vincent say? Associate. So when I think of fiduciary duty, I think of old car. Oh, I must obey the lawful instruction of the client. L, I must have undivided loyalty. D, disclosure. This is a technique of learning and recalling. So we, today, although we have 6 components in fiduciary duty, I will only cover the first 3. Old, O-L-D. I will cover CAR in the next episode. So today we cover the fiduciary duty of agent to be obedient to the lawful instruction of the client, to have undivided loyalty so that there's no conflict of interest, and to disclose all material information. Obedience. We, the agent, must obey the lawful instructions. The keyword is lawful instruction. Agent, I want to advertise my property at selling price of $1 million. Must obey or not? Yes. So there's a green tick there. Agent, I want you to advertise in the Straits Times Classified every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Otherwise, I wouldn't give you exclusive. Must obey or not? Obey. Agent, I don't want you to advertise in Property Lister because I heard there are a lot of duplicate listing. Must obey or not? Obey. If you advertise, warning, fine, suspension, revocation because you broke the lawful instruction of the client. Simple or not? So fiduciary duty is just to obey the lawful instruction of the client. What's the big deal? Agent, I tell you, I don't want you to advertise at all. You just use a word of mouth. Now, sign the non-disclosure agreement. You agree? You cannot advertise. You can only use your personal contact. Hey, I don't want you to put any for sale banner outside my house. If I see I get you, I will get you into trouble. Must obey now. Obey. I don't want you to tell my neighbors I'm selling. Hey, Mr. Seller, tell the neighbor maybe you want to buy. No, I don't want my neighbors to know. Must obey or not? Obey. You go and tell the neighbor, warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license, because you disobey the lawful instruction of the client. I want you to rent out my condo for 2 months only. Must obey or not? Cannot obey. Why? Because it's unlawful, it's illegal. Under the URA regulation, you must have a minimum of 3 months of consecutive rental. 2 months is under 3 months. How can you obey the unlawful instruction of the client? Hey, agent, I want you to rent my flat. Lock one room. Must obey or not? Cannot. Lock one room is illegal. Agent, I tell you, I don't want you to tell all the prospective buyers, this one got loan shark harassment. You tell, I get you. Must tell not? Oh, you like that. What does the professional manual says? Professional service manual. I don't want you to tell about loan shark harassments and agent. This house got loan shark harassment not? Your client asks you not to tell. Mr. Buyer, that is an interesting question. I also want to know. Come, let us go and see the seller together. And you ask the seller. Seller, got loan shark harassment? 没有, 没有. All right. Who is lying? The client, not you. You have obeyed the instruction not to tell. But what does the professional manual, professional service manual says? This is what it says. When asked by a purchaser or the salesperson shall find out and convey to the purchaser material information such as loan shark harassment. In simple terms, he asks, you must tell if you know. If your client asks you, no, you bring him to see the client. So when asked, if he doesn't ask, don't tell. When asked, you tell. Don't ask, because selling and purchase of house is based on the principle of caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. You ask, I tell. You don't ask, I don't have to tell. Maybe they can ask about bankruptcy matters, divorce proceedings, etc. So, agent, don't tell about loan shark harassment. Depends again. So when asked, you say, I have to find out from the seller. If the seller insists, you don't tell, bring the guy to the seller. Hey, I want to sell my flat, agent, at 300,000, but you only put 280. I want 20,000 cashback. Must obey or not? Cannot. Cashback is illegal. I want you to advertise for rent. Americans only. Other races don't call. Can or not? Cannot. No discrimination. No discrimination against other races or religion, etc. All right. Fiduciary duty. We, the agents, must obey the lawful instructions. The key is lawful. If they ask you to do unlawful things, you shouldn't do, because you're a professional agent. So easy, isn't it? So agent, you must obey the lawful instructions of your client. If you don't obey, warning, fine, suspension, revocation, imprisonment. Case study number 1. Disclosing confidential information without seller's consent and failing to render professional service. Let's look at, there are 2 offenses here. Let's look at one. The agent was appointed by the client to sell the property that is under construction, and the instruction was to sell at 925,000. It's fine. And then later, the client changed their mind. Agent, I don't want to sell. I want to hold back. I want to wait for the TOP to be issued, temporary occupation permit. In spite of the client's instruction, agent continued to advertise in the Straits Times, classified, and it was discovered. Agent, I told you not to advertise. Why you advertise? I already hold off the purchase. I'm going to report to CEA because you disobeyed the lawful instruction of the client. So it was lodged. And then there was a charge. An agent was charged for failing to render professional service by failing to act in accordance with the instructions of the client. The client said, hold off, I do not want to sell. You still advertise for what? So you have breached. So after the hearing by the district committee, fine, $3,000. Fixed cost, 1,000. So got to pay 4,000. It's quite lenient. Today, the fixed cost will be more than 1,000. So learning point is this. Obey the lawful instruction, disobey the unlawful instruction. In this case, we ask you to stop advertising, don't sell. Why put dummy advertisement? Warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license. So, learning point, agents must obey the lawful instruction. Don't obey the unlawful instruction. So, all for obedience. We already covered one component of the fiduciary duty. Loyalty. We must have undivided loyalty. We, the agent, when appointed, must get the best selling price. Got 2 offers. Don't tell. Seller, the best offer is only 1,000. What about the other offer, 1,000, 20,000? I want to co-broke with my downline so that I can get overriding. That is a breach of fiduciary duty because there's a conflict of interest. You're looking after your additional income at the expense of the client. Warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license. Fiduciary duty of care to avoid conflict of interest and act in the client's best interest at all times. It follows, therefore, the agent must avoid the conflict of interest, cannot buy the client's property at undervalue, even at full market value. without the full knowledge and consent of the client, failing which warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license. Agent must avoid conflict of interest. If there's any conflict of interest, the client's interest must come first. You must make frank and full disclosure to offer. Seller only got one offer. Why do you hide the other offer? You are not being truthful, not being honest, and with no integrity. All right. Also, you must give the client opportunity to say yes or no. Must have full and frank disclosure. Be transparent today. So, agent cannot make secret profit, cannot collect from two sides, cannot take bribes, and if there's any material information must disclose. The legal language material is important. Information that would affect the decision of the client to proceed or not to proceed. So we can learn from the bad mistakes of other people. Property agent fined 10,000, suspended for unethical conduct. Why unethical? My interest comes first, man. Who cares about the client? That's the trouble. Warning, fine, suspension. Penny Chua, 54, was a division director of a company. He was instructed to sell a property at 1% commission is fine. So he asked his downline, advertise. Hey, downline, advertise. Buyers only. What? Buyers only. So went to CA, said, oh, you're acting against the interest of the client. Fine, suspended. Advertise incorrect block. 260B, go and advertise 260D. The client go and corrected him. He still continued to advertise. Investigation shows he doesn't want to co-broke, want to deceive co-broke agent. And then when he closed his downline, he got 6% overrider. When there's a conflict of interest, must disclose. Fail to disclose. Kenal. So 3 charges against him. Number 1, failing to disclose conflict of interest. Number 2, buyers only, refuse to co-broke. Number 3, giving wrong block number. So number 1, failing to disclose that he is getting an override. Conflict of interest, don't disclose that. Fine 4,000, 6 months suspension. Buyers only, you don't want to co-broke, is it? Fine 4,000, 6 months suspension. You purposely put the wrong block number, is it? Fine 2,000, 3 months suspension. 663 should be 15 months. But CEA got hard. Run concurrently, say consecutively. So 6 months suspension, fine 10,000. So learning point is this: we, the agent, must act with integrity. Do not hide. Do not play a double game. Always put the client's interest first. That is called loyalty. Avoid conflict of interest. Disclose, and if the client is aware and fully consent, is fine. Otherwise, cannot. Protect the client's interest at all times. Act in the interest of the client, not against the interest. Buyers only. Why? Why are you so selfish? You want to corner the market, is it? So they can get the maximum. Warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license. Number 3, agent jail 2 years for cheating. Hey, the client give him the money because the client is overseas. Supposed to take the money to pay the progressive payment. Agent take the money, go and renovate the house. What kind of agent are you? You take client's money, go renovate. Now you don't pay the installment for the progressive payment. The developer checked the property. So the client lost 20% purchase price, loss here. Agent, why do you do this kind of things? Wow, my interest comes first. Breach of fiduciary duty. Agent jail 1 year, 11 months. Why? What happened? Ex-property agent. Ex, no more. The ex. Why cheating? Cheater, Ayo. Forging the signature. Hey, don't you know forgery is a crime? You forge the signature so that the rent that's supposed to come to the client's account, go to my account. Forge and then transfer the. This is cheating. His offense involved 88,000. Warning, fine, suspension, revocation, cheating, imprisonment. So learning point is that agents must place the client's interest first. We learn from people's mistakes so that we do not want to go to jail. We do not want to be fined. Hey, I'm not like that one. I hear all this. Don't worry, Mr. Yeo. I'm a man of integrity. I see the cheating. After you got caught, don't blame me. I'm forced into that corner. That's a direct translation. Come on, man. You can justify, but it's not acceptable. You must act in the best interest of the client. Otherwise, warning, fine, suspension, revocation, and imprisonment. O, L, we finish it. And finally, D. D is what? Disclosure. Remember, old man. obedience, loyalty, disclosure. We have a duty to be transparent, disclose everything. We cannot hide information from the client. Agent must disclose to the principal all relevant information pertaining to the transaction. You got no right to hide anything there. So for the seller, you must tell who's the purchaser, how many purchases came in, what's the offered price, etc., etc. And if you represent the buyer, you must get the best price there. You must get the best price. All right. And any facts, if there's urgency to dispose, you must tell everything. Don't hide. So in other words, whoever you represent, there are information that is important. You must disclose. Why hide? Cannot, man. Can. So you got ulterior motive, is it? Warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license. Property agent shall not withhold any offer received. You have a duty to disclose to the seller all offers, all information pertaining to a transaction, failing which, warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license. Case study number 5. Property agent fined $15,000. Why? Because he failed to disclose other offers. A property agent has been fined $15,000 for acting against the interest of the client. That's a breach of loyalty, because under the OLD, loyalties who have undivided interest, acting in the best interest of the client. Anthony Su has been suspended for 7 months, fined $15,000 because he was not acting in the interest of the client. He lied to the clients. Hey, seller, I need extra commission. I co-broke with Adeline, I got to pay with her. Actually, there's no Adeline, it's fictitious. Seller agreed, increase the price, increase the commission. This is a dirty game they play. Why? My pocket comes first. Who cares about the client? Hey, agent, you want to have long-term career, don't do this kind of dirty things, Fine $15,000. Throughout the deal, he kept information from them about another potential buyer. Why you hide, Oh, so that you can benefit, is it? Warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license. Anthony Su has been suspended for 7 months and fined $15,000. If I were CA, I cancel his license, man. All right. So property agents who breach the code of ethics can be subject to sanction. What are the sanctions? Warning, fine, suspension, revocation, imprisonment. And last time, the maximum penalty under breach of code of ethics, 75,000. Today, 100,000. Learning points: agents must deal truthfully with the client at all times. You and I, if you appoint me as an agent, do you want me to lie and cheat and steal? You must act in the best interest of the client. It's basic. That is fiduciary duty. And there's so many agents. I give so many examples who chose to break that. It's a choice. Chose to break the fiduciary duty so that my pocket got money. We do not do this kind of things. Case study number 6. Wow, this guy got no face. He's faceless. James Ethan Ngoo. He represents the buyer, All right. And, well, it's fine. You represent the buyer, and the seller want to sell a property. How much? Wow. 1.02 million. All right. We are willing to sell at 1.02 million. And the seller's agent said, Mr. Ngoo, 2% commission. 1 for me, 1 for you. 1.02 million. 1% only. Tell your seller, increase to 1,040,000, not 20,000. And that extra 20,000 come to me because I want 3 or 4% commission. Hey, you are the buyer's agent, must get the lowest price. And now you got a low price, you want to inflate the price so that the buyer pay a higher price and you check extra commission. What kind of agent are you? Cheat your own client by inflating the price. So one is, he wants the client to suffer extra 40,000 loss, and that 40,000 goes to his pocket. But the seller refused. All right. So Ngoo went to told, so since the seller refused to increase and give him commission, buyer, don't buy. Don't buy. The price is too high. But the buyer contacted the seller directly, offer 1.04 on. And then they realized, hey, the agent offer 1.04 without my permission. And now the agent want to check another 3-4%. Report to CEA. What kind of agent? Unthinkable. All right. So, warning, fine, suspension. How come no revocation of license? If I was CEA, I revoke the license, man. This kind of agent, cheater, So CEA said Ngu's wrongful conduct caused the client to lose 20,000 to 30,000. Ngu pleaded guilty of the 3 charges. 5 other charges were taken into consideration. He was fined $30,000, suspended for 12 months only. Well, this shows CEA got hard. All right, look, learning point is this. Property agent must place the client's interest first. OLD, obey the lawful instruction, full loyalty, undivided loyalty, get the best price, avoid conflict of interest. That is very important. And don't cheat the client. Come on, there's a disclosure, OLD, disclosure, all material information must be disclosed. We must be transparent, don't hide, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. In spite of the presence of CEA, we still have this kind of unethical behavior. We can learn. We know that we have the fiduciary duty, and it's clearly spelled out in the professional service manual, in the code of ethics. We know, but we choose to disobey, and therefore we must bear the consequences. Don't hide. All car, O, obedience, L, loyalty, and D, disclosure. Next week, I shall talk about CAR, CAR, confidential, accountability, and reasonable care. Learning summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. We, the agents of Singapore, have fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of the client. Once you are appointed as an agent, you are put in the position of trust. You are called a fiduciary, right? And under the code of ethics and the professional client care, it is clearly spelled out that we must act in the best interest of the client. We must disclose, must not hide any material information. It's clearly stated. Why do they choose to break the law? Property agents are required to comply with the provisions therein, failing which, warning, fine, suspension, revocation, imprisonment. Remember, what is the acronym? What are the 6 components? Go back to Vincent Jan. He says associate, car, all car, O, OLD, O for obedience, L for loyalty, D for disclosure. See, so easy to remember because you learn to associate code of ethics, fiduciary duty with old car. All right, so we'll cover the car portion later. What does old car stand for? Obedience. L, loyalty. D, disclosure. We've covered the 3. Next week, the second portion, we talk about CAR, CAR, confidential information, accounting, and reasonable care. So today, we have covered all, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. An agent must obey the lawful instruction of the principal. An agent owes a duty of loyalty, and therefore you must get the best interest and avoid conflict of interest at any cost. And an agent must be transparent, disclose all facts. Do not hide, because if found out, warning, fine, suspension, revocation of license. Because material information are information that will affect the decision of our client to buy or not to buy. We have come to the end of the presentation. Any questions? Never mind, because this is a one-way presentation. Thank you for your kind attention. And I wish you all the best and enjoy your weekend. The end. Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye.